Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boys from Reactions here, back with another video, and today we're mourning this loss. Everybody knows that the Leafs lost in the second round against Florida, 7th game, whatever, game 7. You want to tweet it out, oh yeah, whatever, but whatever. Marner, see you later. See you later, alligator Marner. Bye bye.
We've sat for a few weeks here. We've gone through our thoughts. We've just sat and thought a lot, and we have thoughts on all the players and what we think is going to be the future of the Leafs and what's going to happen in free agency. And we'll talk some news and rumors that have been coming out. We have a new hire. A new coach has left the Leafs. Some things to discuss. Let's get into it. Here we go. Let's start with the news that we already have. So Lane Lambert
gone. See you later.
It was nice. It was a great tenure. We loved your penalty kill. Unfortunately, Seattle called dibs on him, and they got him. Good luck in Seattle.
But I will say this: he wasn't good as a head coach, so we'll see what he does with his second time as a head coach in Seattle. But guess who's here?
Hold on a second. Why do all the Leafs assistant coaches end up being former coaches and succeeding, for that matter? Spencer Carberry, Sheldon Keefe, except that didn't really succeed.
He didn't really succeed.
Who else has moved on? Well, now we have Lane Lambert.
Dave Hackstall, but Dave Hackstall is not really a succeeding coach. He was with the Seattle Kraken, and you didn't do that very well. He got fired.
Dean
Chenoweth.
Okay.
Chenoweth. Listen.
But we have a new hire.
Mr. Gru. Gru has come back. You know who it is. You know who it is. Our home, your home, the man, the myth, the legend.
Now, some people question the signing, but remember this, and I like the words of David Alter. There was not one complaint of his defensive coaching in Detroit.
He was a Tampa. He won back-to-back cups with Tampa. That's all I gotta say. Back-to-back cups.
And then they're saying, Detroit, it didn't go as well. But you know what you got to remember?
Back-to-back cups.
He's going to be taking over the penalty kill in the defense, because that's what Lane Lambert did.
Back-to-back cups. That's all I got to say. Back-to-back cups.
He's exactly what Berube likes. Defense.
Back-to-back cups. That's all I got to say. Back-to-back cups.
And that.
You want back-to-back cups? I want back-to-back cups. Back-to-back cups.
And then, of course, we know Brendan Shanahan gone. That was a week or so ago.
Woo! See you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your tenure.
Thank you for your tenure. See you later, alligator. You achieved nothing, you did nothing, and you see you later, alligator.
The Shanna plan was like...
What do you mean? Oh, no, it was always... It was always a steady downfall. Listen, there was no doubt he did good for the community, but that's all he did. On the ice, he did nothing, and Ed did everything. He was a Detroit winner. He won the Stanley Cup. He knew what it took to be the Stanley Cup champion, and he didn't achieve that in Toronto. See you later, alligator. I don't care where you go. New York Islanders, please take him off. Go ahead. See you later, alligator.
Ship has sailed. He's not going there, so he'll be picked up somewhere, but so far nowhere.
Thank God. Thank God he's just out of our hands. That's all I gotta say.
No, we're gonna go through all the players and where they stand.
Yanni Hakanpää.
Starting with the goaltenders. Wall and Stolars, they're locked down. Wall's got 3 more seasons, including the next, on his contract, and Stolars has 1 more season. We're keeping them, no issues there. Defense is going to be mostly the same. Riley has till 2030. McCabe has till 2030. Tanev has till 2030. So those 3 guys are locked up for the rest of the decade. OEL until 2028. Carlo until 2027, so 2 more seasons. Benoit until 2027. Philip Myers until 2027.
Basically,
Yanni the only UFA, and we're not re-signing him.
Basically, the defense is locked up. That's it. Basically, we don't have to touch the defense.
And Yanni Hakanpää, thank you for your time. You didn't do much. It was a lot of rehab. I hope you got some good rehab with the Toronto medical staff, because I know they're good, but... you know.
See you later, alligator. That's all I gotta say.
Good luck on your future endeavors. Matthews, 3 years, locked up, untouchable. Nylander, till 2032, our longest current
8 years.
locked up.
Will retire as a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Probably. Max Domi's locked up till 2028. Now, he does have a no-trade clause, but I don't think he leaves.
He probably retires as a Leaf.
I think they liked what he did in the playoffs, despite his regular season struggles. We're not here for no regular season accolades. We don't care about Atlantic Division champions. We care about Stanley Cup champions, and he showed up when that mattered. So,
David Camp, see you later. David Camp, see you later.
Traded.
Callie Yarncroke, see you later.
Please, trade them.
Scott Lawton needs to sign him right now.
$4.5 million on Kampf and Yarncroke. You can give that to Marchand, and that would be a much better deal. But we'll get to that.
Reeves, see you later.
Sorry, Scott Lawton, he still has one more year. Keeper. Reeves, he's in the minors. He's just going to be floating around in there. And
see you later.
If we ever need him for injury, we'll call him up, or else, yeah, that's it.
Bobby McManus, see you later.
On the fence with him. You know what? I would like to see them get rid of him because we're trying to move on from this garbage bottom six, but I feel that Brad won't.
See you later. That's
still 28.
Max Pacioretty,
36.
Sign him.
He will return. He just they just announced that he said that he is now interested in returning. He wanted to speak to his family, take some time to make a decision if he was going to retire or not. More than likely will return, and I want him to return. Look what he did in the
return to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He scored a series-clinching goal in round 1, and he scored some big. He scored a big goal in round 2 too.
You're always welcome in the Toronto Maple Leafs family. We will always welcome you back. We love you,
Steven Lorentz, I think you bring back League Min. There was no issue with him on the fourth line. I like him and Lawton together. Then you just find another pair for him.
Let's go.
Pontus Holmberg's a restricted free agent. He's
see you later.
Eligible for arbitration, but
I think you see him later.
Or maybe it just goes to arbitration.
Nick Robertson, I think this is the time to part ways. I honestly think Nick Robertson...
Keep extending his contract and nothing keeps happening. Why? Why extend a guy that you're just going to scratch all the time?
Nick Robertson, I think it's time. I think we both need a better pitcher. I think we both need a new scene, and that's about it. Nick Robertson, see you later.
It never...
Matthew Nyes, sign him to the max you can possibly sign him to. Max 8 years.
It's
sign
going
him
to happen.
8 years.
Offer sheets... See you later. That's not happening. He's getting signed 8 years, $8 million.
We gotta lock him up.
Lock him up. He's an RFA. They said that it'll get done before July 1st, and I believe it will. And that leads us into the remaining 2 players of this core 4, Tavares and Mitchell Marner.
Listen, Tavares. I have a hot take.
He does.
I think you, if you want to shake up this core, I think you let him go. I think it's time. I know what his best interest is. I know, but you got to look at it at a pitcher. He's 34 years old. Mm-hmm. He's getting up there in age, and it's on the decline. We saw that in the 7-year contract. It's on the decline. I think it's best of both teams, both parts, to part ways. I think this is where we part ways. I think we go our separate ways into the sun. That's where I think we should leave it. We go our separate ways. Use that cap space to get someone huge, a life-changing person like Sam Bennett or Brad Marchand or both.
I don't think he leaves. I would not really want him to leave. I don't agree with the take. I also think that he's going to resign. Tree Living said, well, he didn't say this, but they're saying that they're going to try and get it done before July 1st. I think he will. I don't think he's testing free agency. He wants to come back to Toronto. He has kids here. He's built a family here. He's at a later stage in his career where he's not really interested in relocating and going to a whole another country or state or team or whatever. I think he's going to... they said that in order to lower the AAV, they might go with a Tanev-style contract. Tanev signed 6 years at $4.5 million. We're looking about the same thing for Tavares. I know 6 years sounds risky, but if they only sign him for half that at 3 years, I don't think he'll agree to less than 5. He'll probably want closer to 7 or 8.
Well, I'm sorry,
which is too much.
6 years is like
6 years, 4.5. Do it.
We shot ourselves in the foot last time around, 7 years, and we were begging and pleading Tavares to pick it up in some way, shape, or form because his decline was faster than ever.
Well,
4 years into the deal, we were like, oh my god, we got 3 more years with this guy. And it was just on a decline. We saw the decline happen.
As bad as that.
I know, but we saw the decline happen last time and this time. We saw this decline happen 2 years in a row. I think this is going to keep declining.
He's had his ups and downs, but one thing I think he has been is slightly consistent. He puts up numbers. He hasn't had less than 20 goals in a season.
What is the number in the playoffs? That's all I gotta say. What is the number in the playoffs?
He scored some big goals. I think he did.
Big goals. But where
he has potential.
Where was he?
That's the problem with Marner. We gave him the chance, and he hasn't proved himself. You can't keep giving the same guy the same chance just to expect something that's not gonna happen.
I think you let both of them go.
Definition of insanity.
I think you let both of them go. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
After July 1st is Tavares, nice, return, Marner, see you later. That's my prediction. And moving into Marner,
I think we'll see a shocking.
He's testing free agency because he wants to see what numbers he can get from other teams.
I think we'll see a shocking revelation come July 1st. I think we'll see a shocking revelation like we saw with Steven Stamkos. We didn't expect him to leave Tampa, and what happened? He left Tampa. We were not expecting him to Tavares to leave Toronto. Will he leave Toronto? I think so. I think it's time. I think they'll agree. I think they'll come together. I think they'll come together, try to work out a contract, and it will just not be there. The contract won't be there.
For Marner, he wants his money. He wants $14 million.
He proved he just wanted the bag.
I think
he wants more than Draisaitl. That's all I gotta say. More than Draisaitl and McDavid.
I'm sorry, but as much as I'm a Leafs fan, how can you compare Marner and Draisaitl? They're in two different dimensions because one guy scores almost every game in the playoffs. He's scoring in the finals like more than McDavid. And then you have Marner, who barely can get 2 goals in a round. First round.
But I will say this. Be careful what you wish for.
Like I said before, we're not
Jack Eichel never proved himself in the playoffs. He never got a chance to. He was never a playoff performer.
Well, that's the difference.
Well, that's Buffalo.
Marner got a chance. Many chances.
I think...
Nothing to show for it.
He never proved himself to be a number 1 guy, but then what? He won a cup with Vegas.
Bitter ending for Marner, but I do think that if he stays in the division and leads the Leafs, it's going to be a really ugly... situation.
I think it'll be an ugly situation regardless. I mean, I wasn't a fan of throwing things at his house or taunting him at his house.
That's unacceptable.
That's just unacceptable. But
do that.
Yeah, you respect the guy's privacy, and I get why he wants to leave Toronto, and I get why.
He's still a hockey player. He still plays hockey.
He's still a person,
He's still a human being. You don't disrespect him. Like,
I would resign him.
As much as we're upset with the way he's performed on this team in the playoffs, you don't take it out on him and his house. And
I would resign him at a reasonable price.
See, it would be cool if they could re-sign him for a year just to retry just for one more time. But that's not an option. Marner's not signing for a year. The Leafs will not sign him for a year. That's not something, because then in 2027 free agencies, 2026 free agency class, there will be McDavid, there will be Makar, there will be lots of names for us to go after. And
Draisaitl.
McDavid is a big one. We're going to be pushing hard for him. And he's eligible to re-sign with Edmonton on July 1st. I hope Edmonton wins the Cup, because as filming this, it's only been 2 games. I hope they win the Cup so he can finish what he accomplished in Edmonton and not feel...
Put that chapter behind him.
Yeah, exactly. So, because if he doesn't win in Edmonton, he's going to want to stay in Edmonton to win in Edmonton, which is what he's been trying to do. So let him win in Edmonton so then he can feel good about moving forward to the Leafs.
If he goes, David Pagnotta predicted it right here. If he goes into the season and the season starts without him being signed,
he's leaving.
He's leaving.
He's leaving drops in October.
And he's not with a new contract. He's leaving Edmonton.
And
you heard it here first.
He's going to fetch $15 million.
And guess what? I would be the dummy to pay him $50 million to come to Toronto, baby! Woo!
And that's another reason why you can't sign Marner. You can't have Marner, Tavares, Nylander, Matthews, and McDavid.
Oh, it would be delicious. Core 5? Should we get the core 6? I think we should. Bring it back, baby!
Yeah, because then
Bring it back!
have all those players, and then you have league mins.
We're Toronto. We're Toronto. We're the definition of insanity. We do things over and over again. Why not just throw everybody millions of dollar contracts? Well, let's sign Marner, sign Tavares, and sign everybody, and then let's sign McDavid. Finish it off. The core six is going to happen in Toronto.
For the free agency class regarding this year, we know that Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett have been two names been floating around a lot, and they're now saying that Sam Bennett is looking to re-sign with Florida more than anything. But they still have not agreed on a number, and the contract negotiations haven't been going the greatest. I don't know what's going to happen. It's kind of a sticky situation there, but I do think that Marchand is more clear, because we know that he said he's going to test the waters in free agency. He's going to allow a bidding war on himself.
And guess what? The Leafs are going to win a bidding war.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he wants to come home. What are these hints? What are these hints he's throwing us?
It's rumored that they're going to go hard for Marchand.
These hints that he's been throwing us, all of these crumbs, all of these years, he's been throwing crumbs at the Toronto Maple Leafs, saying, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, look at this, I'm coming home, I love the Leafs, the Leafs are changing, the Leafs are changing, and guess what? He's going to be a part of that change. He's coming to Toronto, and we're going to lift the cup with Brad Marchand as our captain.
What better than to bring the player who's been constantly eliminating you in the postseason in Game 7s as well? He's 5-0 in Game 7.
He knows Game 7.
What better than to bring a player like that? We know we hate him.
Throw him the bag!
But who cares about him?
We need rats!
Put the hate aside. Put that aside. This is what we need to
throw him the bag. You want to throw a bag? Throw him the bag. Give him a blank check. Give him a blank check. I give him a blank check.
Void check. Here you go.
Give him a blank check. I'm being stupid, but you know what? I love it. Come on, Brad.
There's a few other players that are in free agency that the Leafs might go after. I don't know if Matt Duchene's going to resign. Nikolai Ehlers could be good for the third line or second line.
Jonathan Toews. Jonathan Toews.
Yes. He's returning next season.
Will he come to Toronto?
There's like upwards of 10 teams bidding on him right now.
Toronto being one of them.
Will be one of them, and I think he will want to return. Well, not return. He'll want to come. He's not a Torontonian. He was born in Winnipeg, but he's still Canadian. He hasn't. Has he ever played on a? Jonathan Toews rumored to join Winnipeg leads the race to sign Jonathan Toews, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if he signed in his hometown in Winnipeg. We would love for him to come to Toronto, but there's plenty more where that came from. There's Ryan Donato. There's, I don't know, Mikael Granlund. I don't know.
Nikolai Ehlers being a name thrown out of there.
There's so many names, and this will be interesting to see how this pans out. We're less than 1 month, 30 days away from free agency, July 1st. The Stanley Cup Final is getting wrapped up soon, and
we'll see.
Then we'll start probably seeing some signings happen. Knies, Tavares, probably not Marner, but remember, he said he was open to returning. I don't know if we want him to return because of that crazy price.
Remember, Steven Stamkos did the same thing.
If he returns to the same division like Florida, if he does that, it's not going to be fun. If he goes to the West, Vegas, you know what? Good luck in your future endeavors. It was a sour ending, but whatever. But if he goes to somewhere like Florida, oh buddy, there's going to be riots and chants in the playoffs next season going against Marner. That's all.
They're floating the possibility of a sign-in trade so we can get assets back.
Yeah, like apparently he could be worth a second rounder. Why second rounder? First, but obviously they're not gonna pay a team's not gonna pay a first rounder for the rights of a player. They would have to have already signed him, but I doubt they'll do a sign-in trade. I think what they'll do is trade for his rights to another team, but that will of course seal the deal. But that has to happen before July 1st, which is, I don't think what Marner wants. I think he wants to have his decisions open, not just locked to one team. If we lose him, we're losing him for nothing. That's going to be the sour ending that Marner caused.
And
we could have got Rantanen for him.
We'll see you next time.
Would we have been in the conference finals if we had Rantanen?
We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace out.